Is China on the brink of an economic collapse? Is there a financial crisis in China? What is happening with its property development or real estate market? Because China is the world's second largest economy with more than 1.4 billion people. And if you haven't already, you can watch part 1 on China's economy here, in which we look at the rise of China, compare it with the biggest economy in the world, in the US, and ask if it will overtake it in future. However, China is experiencing a lot of problems, such as high youth unemployment, an aging population, slow growth, and a property crisis. And in this video, we're going to look at that real estate collapse in China, and in particular at Evergrande, the huge property developer. So please like this video and subscribe to the channel so I can offer more videos in the future. And let's jump straight in. Businessman Hui Kaiyan founded Evergrande in 1996 in Guangzhou in southern China. He was once one of Asia's richest people and the richest in China in 2017, with wealth of around $42.5 billion, but this has plummeted due to the issues at Evergrande. According to its website, Evergrande owns more than 1,300 projects in more than 280 cities in China. Evergrande as a company is massive and offers things like wealth management, electric cars, food and drink, and owns a major stake in one of China's largest football teams, Guangzhou FC. And before this crisis, Evergrande was in the process of building a new football stadium for its team, Guangzhou FC. Evergrande borrowed more than $300 billion to become one of China's largest companies and to fund its extensive building projects. In 2020, however, Beijing introduced new rules to control the amount owed by these large real estate developers. This meant that Evergrande had to sell its properties at significant discounts to ensure money was coming into the company so it didn't go bankrupt. But arguably the world's most indebted company, Evergrande, then defaulted on its debt payments in 2021, triggering China's current real estate market crisis. Evergrande suspended the trading of its shares in Hong Kong on Thursday the 28th of September 2023 until further notice. And this comes just 1 month after it had opened up again following a 17-month suspension. Trading in the firm did resume after this, which did help its shares slightly, but as we'll see next, the damage to Evergrande is quite extensive. Its chairman, Hui Kaiyan, who we saw earlier, has apparently been placed under police surveillance. Reports have been released that other executives at Evergrande have also been detained. Evergrande's shares lost 99% of their value in the last 3 years. And in July of 2023, Evergrande stated that it lost about 581.9 billion yuan, which is about $80 billion over the last 2 years alone. And in August of 2023, Evergrande filed for bankruptcy in the US to try to protect its assets there while it tries to work on a deal with its creditors. And this deal was to try to reissue its foreign debt as new bonds that it had to repay in around 10 years, as well as giving creditors stakes in the company through shares. But unfortunately, on the 25th of September 2023, Evergrande said that its mainland unit, called Hengda Real Estate, defaulted on 4 billion yuan of debt, which is about $547 million. Also, another huge property company in China, Garden, said in August of 2023 that it might lose the equivalent of about $7.6 billion in the first half of 2023. And another property developer, Sino Ocean, has been struggling to meet its debt repayments, as you can see here. So developments are going unfinished in China, meaning these companies are not getting the money in that they need. And the people who have bought this property from these companies before building began stand to lose their deposits and their money if they go bankrupt. And as you can see here from this title, a former Chinese official said in September 2023 that its entire 1.4 billion population wouldn't fill all of its vacant homes. With the National Bureau of Statistics, estimating that the number of unsold homes in China is about 7.2 million based on the size of an average home. But it's not just individuals. The construction and all of the firms that work with Evergrande and these other massive companies stand to lose out on all of their business and suffer huge losses. And finally, let's look at China as a country, because this is so large that it could force banks to lend less in the future, leading to a credit crunch in China. So with much less borrowing, more uncertainty, more huge businesses going bust, there will be less growth in China, which would likely even affect foreign investment into the country. So you can see how this can spiral. And remember, we are talking in the multi-billions here with each of these huge property development companies. So this is a potentially huge ticking time bomb and issue for China. Earlier in August of 2023, Beijing stated that its economy was actually deflating and experiencing weak growth. If you compare that with the inflation we're experiencing in the West, for example, and China's imports fell by 12.4% in July of 2023, with exports declining by 14.5%. So the weaker global demand is affecting China on top of these real estate issues it's facing. The central bank in China actually cut interest rates for the second time in 3 months to try to give its economy a boost. So will Beijing step in to rescue Evergrande and Country Garden and these property companies? It's probably quite unlikely, but the fallout would be massive on China's economy, given that the property sector comprises about a quarter of its entire growth. And it could certainly spill out into the global financial markets, because there are a lot of large global companies that rely on China's market, such as Apple, to name just one company as an example. And China is responsible for more than a third of the growth seen in the world. So any downturn or economic crisis could definitely be felt globally rather than just in China. So let's see what happens, but I'd love to know what you think. Will China end up with a long period of economic stagnation given these difficulties? Or is it still on course to meet or overtake the US as the world's largest economy? Or will it simply just continue growing? So let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please do like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help. And have a great day.